Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the She Speaks Wrestling podcast with your host, me, Adriana Anais. Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing amazing. I want to start off by saying thank you so much for all the recent love I've received on my last two videos, which was a podcast episode and my vlog for NXT Roadblock. I really appreciate all the comments and the likes and all the new subscribers I got here on YouTube. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I will be posting wrestling content as often as I can, whether that be a podcast, a vlog, and just other content as well. I know I haven't really dabbled into my other content as much since starting the She Speaks Wrestling podcast, but I do want to get back into it. I just also want to create a set schedule for you guys, and that leads me into my next topic, which the schedule that I'm going to be following from now on with this podcast. So I will be posting a recap Monday Night Raw review podcast, and that will be coming out on Wednesdays or Thursdays. I will be posting a Friday Night SmackDown recap / review podcast, and that will be coming out. I'm going to try to do Saturday or Sunday. If there's a PLE, that happens, I'm probably going to release that Monday, on Monday. If the PLE comes out, let's say if the PLE is on Saturday, then I will try to release that on Sunday. And if not, if it's like a WrestleMania, for example, and it happens like 2 days, WrestleMania or like what else, like SummerSlam this year, I'm going to try to release that, like I said, on a Monday. This way I can kind of just like put out more content for you guys, and it all kind of makes more sense. And I also like to consider the fact that like not every single topic usually gets discussed on the podcast when I'm reviewing both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown together. And that kind of sucks, because I know some people will consider a certain segment more interesting than, let's say, I would, but I don't get to touch on it because there's so much I need to touch up on with the rest of the show. You know what I mean? So this way, every segment gets to be discussed, every opinion gets to be had, and I get to put out more content for you guys. So yeah, if you are listening on Spotify, thank you so much for listening to this podcast on Spotify. Please make sure to rate the podcast on Spotify. That helps a lot. And yeah, I will also be letting you guys know that for my NXT reviews, because I do watch NXT every week, that will be uploaded on my YouTube Shorts / TikTok, because I officially created the She Speaks Wrestling TikTok account, which you can find linked down below in the description box. And on there, like I said, I will be posting my NXT recap and reviews, as well as here on YouTube Shorts. And on TikTok, I will be also posting just anything WWE related, or wrestling related, should I say, when it comes to like a fun filter of ranking this person, stuff like that. Again, trying to push out as much content as I can in terms of wrestling. And yeah, and I'll try to squeeze in my regular old videos in between if I could. And last segment, before we get right on into the Monday Night Raw review, if you're watching here on YouTube, should I say, if you're watching here on YouTube, you can clearly see me. Hi. Please excuse my outward appearance. It's not that bad today, but I did fall on Sunday, and I busted my lip, so my lip looks a little swollen. That's why. Yeah, we do what we can. The swelling has gone down way more than it was like on Sunday, because it was so big. I literally had to actually call out of work yesterday just because of how off I looked, but today I kind of look a little bit more human, so that's great. So yeah, let's just get into this review. If you hear any noise outside, that is because I live in a very busy neighborhood, or should I say, I live in a very busy city. I live in New York, so there's just a lot of noise all the time, so sorry about that. But other than that, let's speak some wrestling, shall we? I'm going to be reviewing the Monday Night Raw from last night, which was the 7th of April. The last time we spoke, it was after Elimination Chamber. We got an amazing back and forth between Cody Rhodes and John Cena last Monday. I wanted to talk about that, but I was figuring out the scheduling and everything, so I wanted everything to kind of make more sense. So before I even do any of that, I just do want to touch on really quick on the John Cena and Cody segment from 2 weeks ago, just because we didn't get one this week. And I'm pretty sure you guys all seen it by now. Cody told John towards the end of it all, Cody let John know he's never been told by the fans that he can't wrestle, whereas John has. And it ended with John being laid out with a crossroads by Cody, and he is standing tall. And some really cool points that John pointed out is that Cody was his chauffeur, and he considers Cody a mediocre champion. He considers him somebody that isn't worthy of being where he's at. He called him a nepo baby, all those things. And again, Cody's big thing was like, sure, I was chosen, but I wasn't chosen by a guy in a suit that we can't talk about anymore. I was chosen by the people. I'm a nepo baby. Okay, whatever. And and then he hit him with the I never been told I can't wrestle. Really great segment from the two. I am very much excited for the match at Mania. At this point, I think my one criticism at the time was just like, I didn't really love seeing John get the best of Cody, or should I say Cody get the best of John and have Cody come out on top. But now that I think about it, the less we've spoken about The Rock, the more I feel like he's going to be involved at the Mania match. I mean, he's the fucking Rock. Let's just be honest. He doesn't really need the authority by, let's say, a referee or something to, be involved in the match. So I can definitely see The Rock just being involved in their Mania match, and getting the upper hand, and yeah. I will be posting my WrestleMania review, or not review, my WrestleMania prediction soon. I think that's just going to be its own separate video. I don't even think it's going to be considered a podcast. If you guys wanted to, just let me know. And if you guys also want me to stream WrestleMania, live stream it, let me know. Where would you like me to live stream? Would you like me to live stream here on YouTube? Would you like me to live stream on TikTok? Or would you want just like a full video recap type thing and no live stream? I don't know. Just let me know what you guys are digging. WrestleMania falls on a really nice day. It's Easter. So I will obviously be free. Moving on, let's start with the top of the show. First of all, I want to say I rated this Monday Night Raw a 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a pretty amazing show, top to bottom. And I wouldn't say a single segment carried the other. Or match. I think they all just really flowed cohesively, should I say. And for the first time in a while, Monday Night Raw just, like I said, top to bottom was super entertaining. I was glued to my screen and I really liked it. There was never a time where I was like, damn, I really don't fully care about this match. I mean, maybe once, but it was still pretty interesting and there was development and so on and so forth. So really great Raw. We start the show with Adam Pearce in the middle of the ring, and he has the Women's World Championship, my bad. Standing on a little podium, should I say. And he just says we're going to be discussing the fate of what is to come with this championship. And he calls, Bianca Belair out. She comes out. He calls Io Sky out. She comes out. He calls out Rhea, but he says that she's part of the Judgment Day. And listen, I get it. We all mess up. We all have our days and we all get excited and in the moment. But Rhea honestly has not been in the Judgment Day for a long time at this point. Since August of last year, I guess you would say, when Dom kind of Kiss Liv at SummerSlam, almost a full year at this point, bro. Like, I think it more so is the fact that, like, you know, we don't really, like, we don't, I think in my head, and this is just me thinking, right? I'm not saying this is the case at all. He probably was just honestly what it was an honest mistake. But like, you know, he announced EO, and he was like the women's world champion. Then he announced Bianca, and he was like the 2025 Royal Elimination Chamber winner. And then he announced Rhea, and all he's gonna say is, and here's Rhea Ripley. I think he just wanted to like add a little extra something with her name, but there's nothing really extra to add. I just thought that was funny. Moving on though, the real whole thing of it all. Adam announces what we all knew was going to come, which is a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania between these three women. I am so excited. I know they're not obviously going to get the main event spot. That is for the other triple threat match, which is CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, which we will talk about a little bit more later. Regardless, I know there was a lot of discourse on Twitter if, you know, which match deserved it more. Does this championship match deserve it over this extremely heavily storyline based match? Like I said, I'll give you my thoughts and opinions a little later, but I'm still happy that this match is happening. These three women are going to put on an absolute show, an absolute banger. And I can't be more excited. These three women are the biggest women right now in WWE, with the exception, I would say, Liv Morgan is also up there. But these three obviously are the top three. So not only are they probably the best in-ring performers we have in WWE right now, they are the biggest stars for sure in their respective lanes. So I am ecstatic. I wanted this from the very beginning. I feel like we all called it, but I definitely called it right at the beginning when, you know, I saw that EO didn't even win her qualifying match to be in the chamber. I was like, something's going to happen and it's going to be a triple threat. I promise you. And I'm just happy that it happened, man. I'm happy that my freaking tinfoil hat actually worked this time. You know what I mean? Anyways, Bianca also tells, you know, she starts talking. First of all, they're booing Bianca. They're in what was it, Minneapolis, and they were booing her. They've been booing Bianca in Europe quite a number of times, and I think we all thought once we got back to the States, things would get a little bit more in its place, should I say, like more normal. But no, they are still booing my good sis. I think at this point it's time to turn Bianca heel. I know that it's obviously seeming like Rhea is more of the heel. She definitely hasn't even said mommy's on top. She hasn't said her usual catchphrases, but she's still too over with the crowd. Like, she is so over to the point where it's almost like a Stone Cold. I wouldn't say she's at the same stardom, but I'm just saying she is over in that way, that where it's like Stone Cold could literally tell somebody fuck your mother and people will still cheer for him. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how unjustified her actions are going to be, she is still going to get that pop. And I think right now Bianca is kind of getting the brunt of that, since we already have EO, who is the definite face of this whole thing, right? She hasn't done anything wrong. She's taken each and every opportunity and she's taken full advantage of it and defended her championship at this point, right? You have Rhea now, who was the champion, but she is so focused on, or should I say unfocused on, the task at hand and worrying about what's happening around her, that she is becoming this isolated, paranoid type of person where like she is messing up her own things. If anything, she's kind of sprinkling a lot of Drew McIntyre-esque things going on, where she's like fucking up her own opportunity and becoming a heel in that way, and just like she doesn't care who she has to step on at this point. She's getting what she needs. But again, she is so over that the crowd just loves that, and they want to see mommy back on top. They want to see Rhea at the top again with the championship, because let's be honest, I think she looks great with that championship. Not to say the other women's wouldn't / don't. I'm just saying. But I think Bianca's definitely taking the brunt of this and getting the boos out of it all, because I just think she's the one that won the clean, fair, and square, right? And it's like, yeah, well, good for you, I guess. I think, in my opinion, let's capitalize on the booze, and let's have Bianca go full heel and team up with Naomi and be like, yeah, well, fuck all y'all then. Y'all want to boo me? Yeah, fuck all y'all then. And you know what, Naomi? I think you did have a point. I like pushing Jade into that car. I think you had a point, you know? I don't know. I think selfishly, I just would want to see a heel Bianca on the main roster. But moving forward, Bianca says that she would have been upset before about the triple threat, but at this point, she doesn't care. Rhea, like, you know, she's tired of the back and forth. She's tired of Rhea just whining and bitching and moaning. You wanted your title opportunity. Here it is. Let's fight. I don't think you deserve it just because, you know, I'm the one that won the Elimination Chamber. I'm the one that's supposed to go to WrestleMania. I'm the one that, you know, has this opportunity. But since you can't seem to shut up, I want to beat you up at this point. Let's just fight. And Rhea then tries to speak, but Bianca shoves the contract in her face and says, shut up, sign it. You whined enough to get here. And she signs her part and Rhea signs hers. And then the both women are bickering at this point, and Io again is kind of like the odd man out. People are like at least they're underestimating her, and she's trying to get a word in, and I believe it was Rhea that shoved her away and disrespecting her again. And it looks like Io's just really angry, and she leaves the ring for a second, but then she hits this killer springboard missile drop kick on Rhea's shoulders, which then pushes Rhea into Bianca, like her full face into Bianca, which looked like a crazy bump, by the way. I hope Rhea's all right. I think she was. I saw a picture. She was fine. And both women go down, and Io signs the contract, getting her championship and walking out the ring, hitting her emo. I love this. I love the direction that they're having Io go, just because it's the real story of Io Sky, right? Like, most people, unless you're like a diehard wrestling fan, I feel like most what am I trying to say? Like, I guess you could say like most people who aren't like super into wrestling but watch the product if you know what I mean, may not really, they may overlook Io a lot of the time just because she is like smaller or whatever. But then you see her in ring and you're like, whoa, this woman is larger than life, you know? And I feel like in this moment, she's constantly always being perceived as the underdog, or maybe she will win. Who knows? You know? And she's just tired of being overlooked. She's tired of being overlooked by these two, you know, already established quote unquote stars, right? And she's like, yeah, I am the champion. Why do you guys keep on acting like I'm not the one? You know, you two want to beat each other up so bad. You got to beat me up at the end of the day, and that's not an easy task to do, you know? So I'm really, really happy. I'm really happy with the way they're building this. Could it be a little bit better? Sure. But like, for what it is, it's awesome. And I just, the one little thing I have, and Adam Pearce actually mentioned it. He said, you know what, Bianca and Io and Rhea, I'm sorry I put y'all through this. I'm sorry thinking you, Bianca, could be impartial as a special guest referee, because to me that was honestly really dumb. Like, was it entertaining? Did I watch it? Yes. But did it have any sort of logic to it? Absolutely not. Like, Adam Pearce, you knew for a fucking fact Bianca wasn't going to call that shit down the middle. She wasn't. Like, she tried, but she didn't. You know, you knew that for a fact. So it was just like, why even do all that gang? So it was just like, why even waste your time? But again, it was entertaining, and we got to where we needed to, which was a triple threat match at Mania. Next on, we have a Judgment Day segment. And before we even get into that, right before Monday Night Raw was even announced, we have an official Fatal 4-Way at Mania for the Intercontinental Championship, with Braun Breaker defending his title against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Guys, we won. We won. You see, when I say I like multi-men / women matches, I am dead serious. I think sometimes, why limit yourself to just a one-on-one? Why close off opportunity for more than one superstar? Like, putting these 4 guys in a match, I promise you, I think this is actually going to be a sleeper match at Mania. I think Michael Cole was actually the one that mentioned this on commentary. This is definitely going to be a sleeper. I think for the, like, again, for the diehard IWC fans, right? They've been wanting a match like this for so long. They've wanted to see Penta, Finn, Dom, Braun. You know, we've gotten teased so many times before this Fatal 4-Way. We've wanted this for so long. But I think for the casual fan, the one that we're not, maybe not a casual fan, but the fans that go in attendance, you know, the fans at the ring, the fans that buy the tickets, they're not going to really sit here and anticipate this as much as we are. You know what I mean? When they see this match at Mania, they are going to be shocked. This is going to be such a great match. I cannot wait to see the story that Finn and Dom tell with one another in the ring, and how this Judgment Day thing is going on. And that leads me to Finn then congratulating Dom backstage, but he also says, like, you know, he didn't know that he wanted an IC title shot. Like, he should have told him. And Liv Morgan, you know, to Finn's response, Finn says, you know, hey, the more the merrier. And Liv goes, yeah, that's why she asked Adam Pearce to begin with to put Dom in the match, because it wasn't just Finn who got that W last week against Braun and Penta. Sure, Finn got the pin, but Dom also helped him get that pin, you know. And Finn tells Dom that a lot of people don't think he can win this match. You know, he's kind of like this underdog. They're painting Dominic as this underdog, saying, Finn goes, they call Dominic not good enough. They call him a joke. They say he's a loser, which are a lot of things that people do say. And Dom just looks at him, but Finn's like, hey, listen, you know, you got me in there, bro. It's cool, you know. And I don't know if it was either Liv or Finn that said it, but as long as the title comes back home to Judgment Day, who cares, right? Right. And Finn walks away. I am just really excited to see Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Well, at least in this way, I need to see the chemistry. I need to see, like I said, the story between these two men. We have been teased for a couple of months now, the breakup of the Judgment Day, and not just the breakup of the Judgment Day, but the breakup of this friendship. It seems like Dom has become such a larger than life entity, at least within the Judgment Day, and you can see Finn, this older guy that's been there for so long, that hasn't really had such a good run in recent memory. And then you have this new guy, Dominic, that's, sure, he hasn't won as many championships, but he's getting all equal in every opportunity, you know. So very, very exciting. Moving on to I believe this is actually our first match of the night. We have Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is a match I want to see at Mania, first and foremost. That's all I'm going to say. I know they announced that there is going to be a 6-woman gauntlet match on SmackDown this week to see who is going to be the number one contender to face Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania for the tag titles. And Bayley and Lyra are in that match as a team. I don't love that. I don't love that. I believe that all championships should be defended at Mania. That is the hill I shall die on. It is the show of the immortals. It is the show of shows. And it's 2 nights at this point. We have equal and every opportunity to have every single championship be defended. And if Lyra Valkyria then goes on to actually go to Mania, but not to defend her IC championship, but to fight for a tag title, I don't know what message that's sending. You know what I mean? Like, but regardless, we have a great match between these two women for the belt, or should I say for the title. Bayley hit the fuck out of Lyra with her knee. She did like a I don't even know, like she just hit her with her knee, like knee straight to the face. It looked amazing. Very, very physical match. These women were literally hitting each other really hard, some stiff shots, but very, very entertaining. You had let's go Bayley, let's go Lyra chants. My notes are that Lyra is awesome. This is awesome. But Lyra is awesome, man. And this is what I'm saying. She deserves to be showcased at Mania in a singles title match for her inaugural Intercontinental Championship. But going back to Lyra and Bayley, Bayley hits Lyra with a Boston Crab modified, I think that, what is it called, like a lion Tamer, I believe that's the name of the, don't quote me on it, but she hits it, and it right when we all think Lyra's gonna tap, because at this point I'm like, damn, Lyra might tap, because Bailey was doing it. Lyra almost tried to crawl to the ropes. Bailey pulls her back down and then like hits her with like a lion tamer, as I said. Again, don't quote me on it if that's not the right name. But then Bailey and this is where I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Bailey then gets out of the submission to go for her rose plant finisher, but that leads Lyra to counter it and roll Bailey up for the 1, 2, 3. Again, great match, but that little part just was a little unrealistic. Like, if I'm Bailey and I see that my opponent's really about to tap, I'm not letting go of the submission. I'm just not doing it. Even if she's like, because Michael Cole tried to, like, play it off, and he's like, Bailey did a smart thing, Pat. She saw that Lyra wasn't going to tap, so she tried to go for the rose plant, but she just got caught. No, she's gonna eventually tap. Like, she's either gonna tap or knock out. And it's not like a chokehold, so she's gonna tap. Like, but whatever. I get it. A win is a win. Lyra gets her win. She goes to give Bailey a handshake. Bailey slaps her hand away, gets out of the ring. But then she like realizes like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Shakes herself off, gets back in the ring, gives Lyra a hug, and raises her hand. And all I said here was maybe this leads to tension in the tag match on SmackDown, which then will lead to a rematch at Mania. And I wouldn't be mad if there was a rematch at Mania. Like, I think these two women have a lot of great chemistry. I think this has been Bailey's better match for a while. I feel like Bailey for a while there was kind of like in this like rut. I don't know. I think they also talked about this on commentary too, but her character has been in a rut for a little bit, Sure, she's getting like these qualifying matches, she's getting these opportunities, but she's not winning any of these things, So I think she needs a good liable opponent, and Lyra seems to be just that. So yeah. Then we have El Grande Americano El Grande Americano plus American Made, because even though we all know it's Chad Gable in there, he's a whole new character. He's El Grande Americano. He is not with American Made, but yet he's coming out with American Made. But we're not supposed to believe he's Chad Gable. Okay. Versus the LWO. Here are some of my notes for this match. Joaquin Wilde, you're a star. A star. I feel like if WWE, like Dragon Lee, I believe, if they just gave these two guys the opportunity to really have a singles run and just run it. Like, I don't need them to honestly be world. Like, sure, they're definitely contenders maybe one day in the future to be future world champions, but a quick little United States title run, like, very circa 2011 for me. Like, why not? These guys are great in ring. They put on bangers, man. Or at least the tag titles at this point. LWO did some amazing moves. They did like this thing where they had American Made and El Grande Americano all in each different corners of the ring, and then they just like were running in all different directions, hitting all different members of each group. Like, it was amazing. And then if that's not enough, while all other members from American Made / El Grande were outside, the LWO then they all do like this, is it springboard or like a suicide dive type thing off the top of the rope, man? Like, bro, what? All three of y'all? Like, that's crazy. And then don't even get me started on the Creed brothers and El Grande, because they hit 3-way suplexes on LWO. Like, just a really fun, hard hitting match, man. Like, I believe they got a "This is awesome" chant or something. Great match, yo. Great match. And American Made and El Grande Americano end up taking the victory when Ivy Nile hands El Grande Americano a little piece of metal to put in between him, to put in his mask, which then costs the LWO the win when he hits a flying headbutt and 1, 2, 3. But what a match, man. I really actually didn't even mind the ending with the piece of metal. I thought that was like different. I don't know, maybe if it was a callback to something. If it was, I don't remember. I thought it was really nice. And it was a good, nice heelish win, man. It was a good heel win. This was announced later on in the night, but we have a confirmed at Mania match between Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. We get this match because Rey Mysterio tells Adam Pearce, he's with the LWO. He tells Adam Pearce, like, listen, man, I want El Grande Americano. He is disrespectful. He is a disdain to everything I know and love in Lucha Libre, and he is literally the bane of my existence right now. Like, he's doing everything I despise. He's ruining the legacy that I tried / help to build for Lucha, and I would like the opportunity to choose when I get to face him. I have seniority, I am a WWE Hall of Famer, quote unquote. Like, it's not what he said, but it's what he said. And Adam Pearce is like, yeah, Ray, sure. When do you want the match? And if, like, this is the realest thing ever, because if he would have said next week, I would have been like, Ray, WrestleMania is in like less than 2 weeks. What are you talking about? Like, he said the most logical thing, and he was like, I wanted at Mania, please. Like, and Adam Pearce is like, okay, it's official. So now it's confirmed. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. All I'm going to say is, and not to go back to my point, but if we get this match, but we don't get Lyra Valkyria or Chelsea Green defending their women's mid-card titles, Triple H, you will see me. That's a fact. No, but seriously. Going back, we then have a Jey Uso and Gunther segment. This was a really, really serious segment, a really interesting one. I wasn't sure in which direction they were going to go based off of what happened last week with Gunther literally being a serial killer, American Psycho Gunther, where he, zip tied Jay to the ropes in the ring and just beat and pummeled Jimmy down for Jay to watch. Not only just torturing Jay's twin brother, but torturing Jay psychologically, and then like licking his brother's blood off of his face. It was insane. He's crazy. But these two are in the middle of the ring. Gunther has a mic. Jay has a mic. Jay is not eating. He is not with some like colorful outfit on. He's wearing all black. I think that's important to know. Up until this point, Jay was always wearing like these colorful outfits. He was wearing the blue. He was wearing the green. He was wearing, the blue, the orange, the pink, he was very serious this time around. He comes out. Gunther tries to go, raise his mic to speak. Jay smacks it out of his hand. And he asks Gunther if he has a mom. He's like, do you have a mom? And the crowd is just like, huh? And he's like, yeah, what do you and your mom talk about? And at first, like, he's saying this, he's repeating himself, but you hear the crowd go yeet after every time, and you see Jay trying to signal to the crowd, like, hey, listen, don't start with them yeet chants right now. I'm trying to be serious right now. This isn't main event yeet Jey Uso. This is a Jey Uso. This is Joshua. He literally called himself in this promo by his real name. He's like, this is Joshua talking to, what's Gunther's real name? Walter. Talking to Walter. So. But they don't listen. They still are yeeting, despite him telling them, stop. But what can you do, man? In segments like that, it's really annoying that the crowd has like no social awareness. Like, you can clearly see he's telling you to stop. Just stop for like 10 minutes and just listen to the promo. Again, that's the way it is. But hey, whatever. I guess he gets a crowd reaction, right? But He tells Gunther, I was afraid of you. I had to be the one to tell my mom, yeah, I'm sorry, Mom. I couldn't protect my twin. I couldn't protect your son because I was afraid of Gunther. I was afraid of you. He said that Gunther now needs to kiss and hug his family. He needs to kiss and hug his family because he tells Gunther He's going to go and pray to the Lord. He's going to pray for himself. He's going to pray for Gunther. He's going to pray for his family, because he's going to pray for forgiveness for the man that he is going to become at WrestleMania. Because Jay's like, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna become an unrecognizable force, my guy. You're not gonna know who Jey Uso is. It's no longer gonna be, like I said, main event Jey Uso. This is a whole new Jey Uso right now. I'm no longer scared of you. He tells Gunther, I'm not scared of you anymore. And that's what you should be afraid of. The fact that you've taken away all my fear, my guy. What you had going for me, what you had going for yourself, should I say, was that I was afraid of you. That I was crippled by my fear of thinking I could not beat you, that you probably could have got the upper hand. But now you've done everything, like you've completed my worst fear. I have nothing to lose at this point. Nothing to lose and everything to gain, essentially, right? You better pray, and I'ma pray for the man I'ma be at WrestleMania. Guys, right hand man Jey Uso so bad. Uso Penitentiary is so bad. I'm sorry. It is so good. Gunther looks visibly distraught at this. He's just like you could tell on Gunther's face that is not the direction he thought this was going at all. Jay then tells Gunther at Mania he's going to win for Jimmy. He's going to win for his family, and he's gonna win the World Heavyweight Championship. And Michael Cole said it best on commentary at the end of the segment. He says, well, for the first time in this rivalry, Gunther no longer has the upper hand. Y'all, we're in for a banger. We're in for a banger. I know a lot of people, and myself included, wasn't really that excited for this match leading up to Mania for these past few weeks. I just felt like it was getting a little repetitive, and then we had the slip ups, and then it just kind of seemed like Gunther was being scary and yada yada yada. But from last week till now, this story to me has done a complete 360. It has turned its 180, should I say? It's done a complete 180. Gunther now looks so much more menacing and powerful because of last week, and Jay now looks so much more credible and serious, like, you know, the Jey Uso that we always wanted. Now, however, I was not on the hate train for Jey Uso. I want to make that very clear. In wrestling, it's really annoying how people go from rallying by someone and wanting them to win the big one, wanting them to do their big one, to then at the drop of the hat be like, actually scratch that. They're ex-Hogan now. You know, they don't do this, or it's all that hate train stuff. Don't even bring it to my comment section, because it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. You guys fought for this, screamed for this, and then when he finally gets it, as most things do, you guys turn your back on those people. I don't like that, but I'm excited for the WrestleMania match. It's going to be an absolute, not to repeat myself, but an absolute banger. I just know it's going to be good. These two guys are really going to put on a show, and I think they're going to really surprise a lot of people that are doubting the match, especially with the story that we are now going into it as of right now to Mania. Moving on, we have the New Day versus the War Raiders for their, the World Tag Team titles. We have Kill Tony on commentary, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I am not a avid Kill Tony watcher. Okay. I don't watch this Tony guy at all. I've probably seen a couple clips. I don't even think I've seen a full segment of his, but I know he's going to be doing the roast of WrestleMania, which, whatever that means, right? Okay. That's another thing. This WrestleMania season, I also believe, has kind of been squandered by the amount of things we're doing this entire weekend. Not only do we have the Hall of Fame, which we always do, right? We also have WrestleMania World. The WrestleMania World. Then we have this roast of WrestleMania. Then we have the Dead Man Show. Then we have Stand and Deliver. Hold on. As exciting as it is, it's also very overwhelming. So it's just Will I tune into the roast of WrestleMania? Maybe for a couple of minutes. If I see that it's not entertaining and it didn't grab my attention, then it's off my screen and I'll see some clips on Twitter. But speaking about Twitter, I saw a lot of people saying that they actually muted the TV with Kill Tony's commentary just because it was really annoying. It was really annoying. Did I mute my TV? No, because I wanted to actually listen. But whatever. The New Day kept trying to introduce a chair into the match, which eventually leads to Ivar with a chair, and I believe he hit Kofi with it, which caused for a DQ. The New Day win, but unfortunately that means they are not tag team champions. So the New Day are obviously upset, so they get chairs and they're attacking the War Raiders and they're targeting the neck of it's Ivar and what's the other guy's name? I always forget his name, but they're targeting the other guy's name. The other guy's neck. Not Ivar, the other guy. They're targeting his neck, and right when it looks like it was going to be catastrophic, it gets broken up by security, and New Day stand tall. Where this goes for WrestleMania, I think this goes exactly where I believe the SmackDown tag titles are gonna go, and that is in multi-man ladder matches. Give it to me now, Shayla. There's too many tag teams right now on both brands that shouldn't not be on Mania, or that should be on Mania, should I just say. There's too many tag teams that should be on Mania, and they deserve an opportunity to showcase what they got, like the LWO, like American Made, like the New Day, like the War Raiders. Even what's the other team I was thinking of? Even New Catch Republic, which we saw last week, returning Tyler Bate. These guys, all these teams, they deserve a title opportunity. So why not have it at the grandest stage of them all? And why not have it with a ladder? Because yeah, when I think of WrestleMania, I think of ladder match. So yeah, moving forward, we get a really cool Cody Rhodes video package. Cody looked amazing in the video package. Of course he did, because it was for him. But damn, this, you guys are not, I feel like a lot of people are kind of missing the bigger picture with this story. This is what it's about. It's about old mold versus new future mold. Do you need to be in WWE the entire time to become the face of WWE? Do you need the backing of WWE every single step of the way to be undeniable? Do you need the mold? Yes or no? Cody's no. Cena's yes. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about right here. As Cena may like to think, he was, I was pushed aside from the fans. Yeah, you were, because you were pushed down everyone's throat for years. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you were in the mold. And that's where kind of Cena's delusion is also clouding, where it's like he has a lot of justified thoughts and justified opinions, but he's skewing his own perception. He's skewing the perception of us. You guys hated me. Yes, we did. But why did we hate you, Cena? Not because I'm that good. No, because you were pushed down our throats. You put down a lot of superstars. You buried a lot of people. I think they also mentioned that in the last promo, not to go back to last week, but he said, yeah, people said I buried them. I didn't bury talent. I buried mediocrity. No, bro, you actually buried a lot of great talent. Let's be for real. It's skewing the perception. I don't think this rivalry is any way, shape, or form boring. I think this is the type of rivalry that at first a lot of people aren't going to get, but we're going to look back on this 5-10 years from now, and we're going to be like, wow, do you guys remember when Cody Rhodes went up against John Cena? It's going to be that. Moving on to the final match of the night, which is technically the main event match, right? At least match. Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. Just a little teaser of what we're going to be getting at Mania with the Fatal 4-Way. Damn, y'all. Dom has improved so much. So much. Just seeing where Dominic was 3-ish years ago till now has been nothing short of spectacular. He is so amazing. And I love him, y'all. I do. I really do love him. And I love Penta as well. And I just can't wait to see what these two are going to be doing in the future, man. But then we get a lot of Dom, you suck chants. Dom's wearing his cool fuzzy boots. It's really awesome. Dom finally actually hits the Three Amigos. He rarely hits it, so it was really fun to see him actually do it. He also hits a Mexican destroyer and 619. He, like I said, improved so much. He hits Penta with his own move, y'all. But Penta eventually gets the W, and Dominic and Carlito start to attack Penta, which then leads to Braun Breaker coming out and hitting one of, if not the best spears ever. Like, Braun literally speared Carlito not only into oblivion, but he speared Carlito so hard that he himself did a front flip. Like, bro, what the fuck? The power, the speed, killer spear. And then Dom and Penta, and then he then goes and spears Dom and Penta. So he stands tall, but then Finn comes out and hits Braun with, I still have yet to name the move, or they still have yet to name the move. The commentary didn't say what the name of the move was. If not, I would have written that down. I don't really love the move. It doesn't seem like it seems like a transitional move. Maybe it's the way it was delivered. Maybe if somebody else was delivering it or somebody else was receiving it, I don't know. I don't really love that move. I still love his coup de grace though. I'll be honest. I love the coup de grace. I think that's one of the coolest finishers. But that move I do not like. But he hits Braun with whatever that was, and then stands tall, picks up the IC championship, goes up to Penta and says, "Esto es mío, cabrón," which translates to, "This is mine, you bastard. This is mine." And then Finn holds up the title, but Braun tries to attack Finn, but he ends up escaping out of the ring. And that's where we leave that. Y'all, this fatal four-way, not to quote it again, but chills. That's how serious it is to The Rock, y'all. I am so hyped, man. We freaking won. Lastly, to the final segment of the night, we have Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and CM Punk. First off, this is going to be a doozy, so buckle in. First off, we have Paul Heyman coming out, and he says he has always, and he will always be loyal to not only his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, but to his best friend, CM Punk. Before he can say anything else, Seth Rollins interrupts. "Burn it down." Wow, guys, his song is so good. Comes out, interrupts. Seth asks Paul, whose side is he on? If Paul is going to be the very best friend to CM Punk, or is he going to be the wise man, the advocate to Roman Reigns? He tells Paul he's only convincing himself and convincing us that he can do both. But in reality, he can't do either. Because Roman is using him. Roman doesn't respect him. He uses Paul to shine his shoes. He uses Paul to hand him his hula fala. He uses Paul to book his private jets. Because when Roman lost at Mania last year and he left for months on end, he left Paul with Solo and the New Bloodline. And what happened when he left Paul with Solo and the New Bloodline? They literally attacked him in his hometown here in New York. I believe it was at Madison Square Garden. They attacked him, put him through a table in front of his two children. He says his children's names and everything. He says that's what Roman did. He put you in that position. He put you in that position. And did Roman come? Did Roman come and save you? When you tried calling for the tribal chief, did he come for you? Paul shakes his head. No, he didn't. Neither did Punk, because Punk saw the attack and the abuse that Paul was enduring with the bloodline, and he didn't come and save him. He didn't come from Monday Night Raw to help him. What was CM Punk doing? He was too busy dealing with Drew McIntyre. He was too busy dealing with Seth Rollins. He wasn't worrying about his best friend. Seth Rollins then goes on to say that Punk walked out on him too. He says Punk didn't embrace him when he came back. He said not only did he walk out on the company, he left you here by yourself, abandoning you. And when he came back, did he come back and embrace you with open arms? Or did he come back in hopes of a favor? You know what I mean? And Punk and should I say Paul also says, yeah, no, he didn't. He said, Seth goes on to say that Punk wasn't even the first choice for War Games. Seth was the first choice. He says Punk was the last choice for War Games. He says that Punk didn't do War Games for Paul. He didn't do War Games out of the kindness of his heart. He did War Games for a favor. He did War Games for himself. And then my favorite part of this promo, Seth then goes, "Stop me when I'm telling lies." Chills, because if you know, you know. If you know, you know. A little callback to CM Punk himself. Stop playing the right end, y'all. Oh, okay. So then he asks Paul. Seth goes to Paul's face and says, "Paul, I need you to bow out." He asked him, "You gotta bow out. You gotta leave Punk. You gotta leave Roman. You gotta leave them alone. And you gotta leave them for Seth to deal with. Gotta leave it for him, because he needs to remove Paul from the situation, because he says, I know you can't do it on your own. I know you can't say no. So let me do this for you. It'll be quick. It'll be easy. One quick stomp to the back of the head." He says Punk isn't even here to make friends. He's here to make money. And it's true. That's what CM Punk has been saying from the very beginning, that he isn't here for friendship. He isn't here for love and loyalty. He's here for the money. Ooh, Seth is doing, I want to say Seth is being manipulative, and to a certain extent, he definitely is. All right. He's definitely taking things. He's definitely, like I said, skewing perception of things. But for the most part, he hasn't told a lie. Like, Roman did leave after Mania for months. Roman did leave Paul with the bloodline. Roman didn't come back to help Paul. The only time I believe he finally came back was was it for Jimmy? I'm pretty sure he didn't even come back for Paul. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. And then with Punk did walk out on the company. Punk did walk out on his best friend. Punk bashed the company that his best friend was working at for years. And then when Punk came back, he didn't immediately go back into his friend's arms. What did he do? He did his own thing for a while. And then finally, when the situation arose where he had to actually, his friend asked him for a favor. Like, listen, can you please, you're my only hope. You're my last hope. Can you please do me this one solid? He said, sure, I'll do you this one solid, friend, but for something in return. Like, he's not lying. He's not lying. He says, one stomp, it'll be easy. It'll be quick. I got you. And he asked Paul, how much are you worth? Are you worth that much? And smacks Paul right in his face. And he does this a couple times. Come on. How about this much? How about that much? Keeps on hitting Paul. And finally, this is what we don't really see from Paul Heyman too often, especially when it comes to talent. He stands up for himself. He tells Seth to get the hell out of his face and to stop hitting him. And then Seth ends up pushing Paul Heyman into the corner. And just when we think that's it, it's over for Paul, here comes CM Punk. His music hits, and both men with CM Punk and Seth Rollins start to brawl it out. Punk tries setting up for a stomp to Seth on the steps, but Seth rolls out of the way, goes into the ring. When he goes into the ring, that sets up for Seth to then hit CM Punk with the stomp. Once he hits that, you see Paul Heyman then go to CM Punk's aid, tries to, make sure he's okay. He's setting up, he sets himself up to be in the stomp position. And right when you see Seth about to go hit Paul Heyman with the curb stomp, he stops himself, hits the curb stomp, but not onto Paul Heyman, right next to Paul Heyman's head. And he goes, picks up the mic. Now you owe me a favor. Guys, and I know Twitter's all like, that's not how a favor works. Y'all, the favor is, this is why Paul Heyman now owes Seth Rollins a favor. Because Seth Rollins could have stomped the shit out of Paul Heyman's head. But because he decided not to, he owes him a favor now. I decided not to kill you. Here's the favor. Like, what's my favor now? You know what I mean? Like, sure, it's not like 100% logical, but y'all, semantics, bygones, it doesn't even matter. The point is, now Seth is asking for a favor. Like, what is it going to be? Because we know Punk's favor. He wants Paul Heyman to walk out with him at Mania. He wants him in his corner. And now we haven't heard from Roman. We did see that Roman was clearly distraught when Paul Heyman admitted to the fact that he can't say no to Punk. He has to do it. And obviously, we know Roman isn't going to be excited to see his wise man go from his wise man to be with this guy now, right? But let's just see what Roman has to say this Monday. I wonder where that story is going to go. I wonder if we're still going to hear from Seth. Right now, as with most things, Seth Rollins is carrying this feud for me. He's carrying this, y'all. And that's not to say that this is a bad feud and all three men aren't giving it their all, because they definitely are. All three men are playing their part. But the person who I feel like has not only been so interesting as a character in ring, but also just like character minds, like Seth's mind, like he not like, if you really want to sit here and break it down, and this is how I see it, you can leave down below in the comments if you see it other ways. But Seth is this, he calls himself the visionary, the revolutionary. He's the Messiah, Seth freaking Rollins, right? He is this guy that just wants what's best for the business. He wants best for the business that he has been helping to grow and create even better, right? Like, he just wants this business to get better and better. And he sees someone like Roman Reigns, someone like CM Punk as a cancer to the business. Because for Roman, right? Roman had a championship on lockdown for over 1,000 days, 3+ years, right? He had a championship on lockdown, stopping the bag, so to speak, right? For so many other talents, Seth included, but for so many other talents, he stopped the bag, right? That wasn't what's best for business for him. And not only that, he had to cut out Roman Reigns early on, because he knew that he's the one that created this monster in Roman Reigns. It was the steel chair to the back all those years ago. And that's what's his problem with Roman, right? And with Punk, he sees Punk, he literally said it, as a cancer, because Punk has constantly over the years after he left the WWE. And not only does CM Punk sit here and bash the business for years and years, when he finally comes back, he waltz in and he thinks he's gonna get every single opportunity and that he's deserving of everything. And here he is finally getting his dream, right? Let's not forget, CM Punk has only wanted one thing for years, the one thing he has never had in the WWE, and that is a main event match at WrestleMania. And finally he gets it. And Seth is like, why do we continuously reward these two guys who are not good for business? They're not good for anyone. And then he sees Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman isn't just the advocate to Roman Reigns. He isn't just the wise man to Roman Reigns. He isn't just the best friend to CM Punk. He is the fans, right? He essentially is the fans. He's the guy that He's a representation of us. He is the fact that he is a visual representation of us, not only excusing CM Punk's behavior, excusing Roman Reigns' behavior, accepting of the behavior, but also cheering it on, ignoring it, validating it, saying that, yeah, everything that Roman did, that's cool. Everything that Punk did, that's cool, because they're you know what I mean? Like, Seth is, in my opinion, he's seeing everything without the rose-colored glasses on. He's like, no, this guy sucks and this guy sucks. And Paul, you suck the most because you continuously justify these two shitheads, and I'm sick of it. I'm not the one that's gonna sit here and defend these two guys anymore. If I have to be the bad guy because I call out the bullshit, if I have to be the bad guy because I gotta take you and you out, then so freaking be it. I'm the bad guy. Guys, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Guys, I think it's very clear what I'm thinking. My problem is with predictions a lot of times is who I want to win and who I genuinely believe is going to win, who I think WWE wants to put the W on. And that's where I'm at right now, especially with this main event match. And let me get into it real quick, because I think I mentioned it in the beginning, but I remember hearing and seeing a lot of discourse about the two triple threats, the women's triple threat match with Io, Rhea, and Bianca, and the men's triple threat match with Punk, Seth, and Reigns. And obviously Punk, Seth, and Roman are going to be the main event for night one, and the Cody and John are going to be night two's main event. And a lot of people were very upset that Bianca, Io, and Rhea didn't get that main event spot. And at first, I definitely was on the train where, like, yeah, these three women need to main event. They need to main event. Like, it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. Why wouldn't the Women's World Championship? Why wouldn't they main event, right? But looking at the two stories from the outside looking in, right? Like, take the belt away from the women's triple threat. Take the world championship away. Which story is bigger? Which story is more polarizing? Which story is going to grab someone's attention faster? That's all I got to say. The argument still stands that CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns have the biggest storyline going into WrestleMania this year. And I believe that these three men deserve that main event spot. And again, it's really shitty just because the women do not have that. And that is not to say that they aren't deserving of that, because they are deserving of a storyline just as big, just as important, just as powerful as one of those. I can only blame the writers. I can only blame the guy behind it all. I can only blame them for not giving the women the equal opportunity to have a story just as big. But the reality is that they don't. So sadly, they will not get that main event spot. But I 100% believe that they are going to put on not just a banger, but they are going to be the Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley match circa WrestleMania 39. They're going to be the match that you believe that, damn, that should have main evented. That was the match of the night. That was the best match on the card. They are going to do that. They are going to prove themselves right again. And we can only hope and pray that in the future, the women not only get the main event title opportunity, the main event spot, but they also get the storyline to go with it. And that's just all I have to say on that. And that is my recap of Monday Night Raw. Guys, what a show. What a Monday Night Raw. Oh, I am so excited for Mania, y'all. If it isn't obvious already, if I haven't been repeating it all episode, I am very, very excited for WrestleMania. I'm very excited to see what we have in store. And yeah, please make sure to follow me on my TikTok at She Speaks Wrestling, and my personal TikTok, which is all linked down below. Follow me on Twitter because I live tweet all my thoughts, all my opinions while I'm watching the show. I have a bunch of like live opinions and thoughts on this Monday Night Raw as well, so you can go back, look at it, see if you agree, reply, retweet, like, do your big one. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can be notified if you hit the bell whenever I upload. I will be posting, like, I believe a community tab. I think I might post of what you guys want to see, whether that be a live stream or just a video reaction for WrestleMania, because I really want to do something. It's the biggest show. Why shouldn't I do something, right? So let me know. And follow me on Instagram. Just check out the description box. All the links are in there. And make sure, if you're an audio listener, to please rate this podcast. And like I said, it does a lot for me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Be on the lookout for the YouTube shorts / TikToks on the NXT reviews. And be on the lookout for the SmackDown recap review podcast. All right, bye guys. I talk too much. Bye.